Okay, I'm back, y'all, and welcome to Spirituality with Touche, where we over here serving spirit and glam with a touch of beauty, fashion, and faith. I hope y'all are doing well. I hope you're feeling good. Welcome to the channel, y'all. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe, turn your notifications on so you're notified anytime I go live or post a video. And make sure you drop something in the chat that you are grateful for. Let's get in the flow of abundance. Y'all. Guess what? We are starting a new book of the Bible. We're starting a new book of the Bible, y'all. We're starting the book of Ecclesiastes today. We're starting Ecclesiastes today. I'm gonna rock it out because with this one, y'all know whenever we start a new book of the Bible, in this particular journal that I'm using, this is the One Step Closer Bible NLT translation. They have a preface. Thank y'all. I was trying to think of that the last time. A preface, y'all. They have like an explanation of what the book of Ecclesiastes is about. Now, I have never, ever read through the entire book of Ecclesiastes. It's not that long. Okay, let me see how many chapters it is. It ain't long at all. So it's only 12. So we'll only be in this for about a few days. What, like the 4 days, maybe 4 days or so. So I'm going to read this that gives us what the book of Ecclesiastes is about. Oh my gosh, this will be my first time. I think the verse that I'm most familiar with in Ecclesiastes is Ecclesiastes 9 and 11. And it talks about the race anyway, because it's in one of the oracle decks that I have. So hold on, y'all see I tried to put my hair up today. Y'all, I feel like an around the way girl. Shout out LL Cool J meant it. I said, come on around the way, girl. Don't judge me. If you're new to the community, welcome. We are so happy and so grateful that you are here. And if you're an OG, triple OG, I love y'all so much. Thank y'all so much for the continued support. Let's do it. Let's get to it. And then, of course, we're going to hop in with spirit guides, ancestors, angels, and ascended masters of the highest and purest light vibration and energy, and get a word from the cards and see what yeah, I might have to because it's a little warm wood. And Spirit them said, hey, y'all, but they'll be back in a second after we get done reading this first part. Yeah, a little warm, wouldn't it? Okay, I'm back. Here we go. Ecclesiastes. Today, or this says, toward the end of his life, a famous person is interviewed. The first question is asked, you've lived a full life. What would you like to tell everyone watching and listening tonight? The audience leans forward, waiting for a profound response, some helpful words that could make their lives as successful as this person's. Life is meaningless, the famous person blurts. Completely meaningless. For the first time in his life, the interviewer is speechless. The audience is stunned. Is this all there is to life? The book of Ecclesiastes begins in just this way. King Solomon, the most famous person of his day, is interviewing himself, engaging in self-analysis. How would I portray life to others? He asks himself. Meaningless, empty, hollow, without significance. What makes Solomon's words even more surprising and perplexing is that he is known as the wisest man who ever lived, and also possibly the richest. Solomon had it all. It is actually not until the end of the book that we realize that he started the book this way to get our attention. Solomon did have it all, but he just didn't realize it until his closing days, after he had made a real mess of his life. Before we make any more of a mess with our lives, Solomon is trying to show us the futility of life without God. Drop this in the chat. I can't live without him. Solomon looked at life as one grand experiment, and in the end, he concluded that the experiment had failed. The relationships he developed apart from God were disappointing. The business ventures he explored apart from God brought no real joy or satisfaction. The music, the gardens, the art, what was the point if they could not be seen as a gift from the eternal God who loves us? All of this dawned on Solomon, but almost too late. Everything he tried apart from God was either disastrous or meaningless. He couldn't take another dead end. Now, having tried virtually everything his heart desired, he returned to the one true desire of his heart, a relationship with God himself. He finally realized that God is the only hope for meaning and an eternal future. If only he had realized this sooner, if only he could prevent this heartache in others. Then I just take on the, wasn't I just telling y'all the other day, and I think I said it on one of these videos. I say, Daddy, did whatever look, this got to work. Whatever I'm doing now, it's got to work, because I'm like Solomon, child, I ain't got nothing left. So that's why I got to follow where the Lord is leading me, because just like Solomon, I done did too much stuff and ain't no going backwards. Fear God and obey his commands is Solomon's final plea. We can almost sense Solomon's wistfulness as he says this, wishing above all else that he had the ordinary common sense to follow this guidance throughout his own life. And of course, we going 2 chapters at a time, y'all. So we doing 1 and 2 today. Okay. Yeah, I might be able to do it. We're going to see. Here we go. These are the words of the teacher, King David's son, who ruled in Jerusalem. Everything is meaningless. Everything is meaningless, says the teacher, completely meaningless. What do people get for all their hard work under the sun? Generations come and generations go, but the earth never changes. The sun rises and the sun sets, then hurries around to rise again. The wind blows south and then north. Around and around it goes, blowing in circles. You got me going in circles. Okay, I'm back. Rivers run into the sea, but the sea is never full. Then the water returns again to the rivers and flows out again to the sea. Everything is wearisome beyond description. No matter how much we see, we are never satisfied. No matter how much we hear, we are not content. History merely repeats itself. It has all been done before. Nothing under the sun is truly new. Sometimes people say, here is something new, but actually it is old. Nothing is ever truly new. We don't remember what happened in the past, and in future generations, no one will remember what we are doing now. The teacher speaks, the futility of wisdom. I, the teacher, was king of Israel, and I lived in Jerusalem. I devoted myself to search for understanding and to explore by wisdom everything being done under heaven. I soon discovered that God has dealt a tragic existence to the human race. I observed everything going on under the sun, and really it is all meaningless, like chasing the wind. What is wrong cannot be made right. What is missing cannot be recovered. I said to myself, look, I am wiser than any of the kings who ruled in Jerusalem before me. I have greater wisdom and knowledge than any of them. So I set out to learn everything from wisdom to madness and folly. But I learned firsthand that pursuing all of this is like chasing the wind. Hold on, y'all. The greater my wisdom, the greater my grief. To increase knowledge only increases sorrow. The futility of pleasure. Ecclesiastes 2. I said to myself, come on, let's try pleasure. Let's look for the good things in life. But I found this too was meaningless. So I said, laughter is silly. What good does it do to seek pleasure? After much thought, I decided to cheer myself with wine. And while still seeking wisdom, I clutched at foolishness. In this way, I tried to experience the only happiness most people find during their brief life in this world. I also tried to find meaning by building huge homes for myself and by planting beautiful vineyards. I made gardens and parks, filling them with all kinds of fruit trees. I built reservoirs to collect the water to irrigate my many flourishing groves. I bought slaves, both men and women, and others were born into my household. I also owned large herds and flocks, more than any of the kings who had lived in Jerusalem before me. I collected great sums of silver and gold, the treasure of many kings and provinces. I hired wonderful singers, both men and women, and had many beautiful concubines. I had everything a man could desire. So I became greater than all who lived in Jerusalem before me, and my wisdom never failed me. Wait, so I became greater than all who lived in Jerusalem before me, and my wisdom never failed me. Anything I wanted, I would take. I denied myself no pleasure. I even found great pleasure in hard work, a reward for all my labors. But as I looked at everything I had worked so hard to accomplish, it was all so meaningless, like chasing the wind. There was nothing really worthwhile anywhere. So I decided to compare wisdom with foolishness and madness. For who can do this better than I, the king? I thought wisdom is better than foolishness, just as light is better than darkness. For the wise can see where they are going, but fools walk in the dark. Yet I saw that the wise and the foolish share the same fate. Both will die. So I said to myself, since I will end up the same as the fool, what's the value of all my wisdom? This is also meaningless. For the wise and the foolish both die. The wise will not be remembered any longer than the fool. In the days to come, both will be forgotten. So I came to hate life because everything done here under the sun is so troubling. Everything is meaningless, like chasing the wind. The futility of work. I came to hate all my hard work here on earth, for I must leave to others everything I have earned. And who can tell whether my successors will be wise or foolish? Yet they will control everything I have gained by my skill and hard work under the sun. How meaningless. So I gave up in despair, questioning the value of all my hard work in this world. Some people work wisely with knowledge and skill, then must leave the fruit of their efforts to someone who hasn't worked for it. This too is meaningless, a great tragedy. So, what do people get in this life for all their hard work and anxiety? Their days of labor are filled with pain and grief. Even at night, their minds cannot rest. It is all so meaningless. So I decided there's nothing better than to enjoy food and drink and to find satisfaction in work. Then I realized that these pleasures are from the hand of God, for who can eat or enjoy anything apart from Him? God gives wisdom, knowledge, and joy to those who please Him. But if a sinner becomes wealthy, God takes the wealth away and gives it to those who please Him. This too is meaningless, like chasing the wind. The end. Okay, y'all said that. Look, how many did I just say? I forgot, y'all. We only reading these two at a time because when we in a book like this, before we did, it's been so long because in Proverbs and in Psalms we was reading 3 chapters in Proverbs, and then I think I was doing 5 chapters in Psalms because it was so long. So it's 12 chapters, so we'll be in here 6 days because we doing these 2 at a time. Y'all show right, because I was like, oh, we already done, because I'm ready to read a whole nother chapter, child, and we be reading them 2 at a time. So let's get to it. So Solomon said it's meaningless, okay? Because let me just tell whoever needs this message. Look, I don't care. If God ain't, drop this in the chat. If God ain't in it, I ain't doing it, and that's just that on that. If the Lord ain't in it, I don't want it. Meant that. So let's see what y'all want to use today. I kind of like these cards, y'all.